Hey, I'm Dadler.
And I'm Alex, and welcome to the 5th episode of the segment tutorial series, this time focusing on the Paleto score segment. As always, to start the segment you want to load the save file provided on speedrun.com or on the official GTA 5 speedrunning Discord server, which is linked in the description. Once you start the first mission, which is minor turbulence, you want to immediately jump and get into the car.
Let's go. What are you going to do? We're not.
Just like on the mission Mr. Phillips, you can grab some brake boost on the dirt here, most of which are incredibly hard to see.
Okay, well, I knew that you were pissed after the Merryweather heist. Giving back the hardware. That was bullshit. Right.
Do a landing boost on this small hill here.
Tapping into Merryweather networks.
Feels good to be
A landing boost is basically a brake boost which you do while landing the car.
I got it. Now, I was expecting something a little more impressive. The late, great Michael Townley.
Not so late and not so great, right?
Make sure to hit the rightmost fence and not any others, as they can get stuck in your car and mess you up.
What's the end game, man? We had a good thing going without him.
Park the truck like this to warp out of it and then enter the crop duster. Now we start the most exciting section of this segment, the main part of minor turbulence.
I'll get you on the radio.
Pay attention to the exact route that I take on this flight to maximize the rubber banding of the cargo plane. Also make sure to never go above the height limit for more than 15 seconds, as this will spawn in enemy jets that will fail the mission. My first point of reference is the lost camp which you shoot up on Mr. Phillips, so until then I will speed up the plane part a bit. Once you fly over the lost camp, you want to turn right on this small hill ridge and then fly across that one big bush.
Are you planning on forcing them to land?
Didn't I say we had to take them in the air if we're to have any kind of shot at this? I thought I said that.
You did. It's just I don't see how you're going to...
You'll see.
You're too high. Drop down before they figure it ain't an aberration.
For the next point of reference, I generally use those small bushes on the next hill ridge.
Lose altitude.
Altitude corrected.
We're approaching Fort Zancudo, Trevor.
Once you clear the ridge, head towards that white spot on the mountain with a couple bushes on it.
Whoa. Remember,
You will probably have to watch this a couple of times and do some testing in-game yourselves to get a hang of it.
they're on their screens.
After the bushes, fly down into this valley and then take a sharp right turn onto the next ridge.
You know the cargo plane's got
Fly pretty much straight over the bridge. If you've done the rubber banding correctly, the plane will now overtake you on this bridge. Now head pretty much straight until you reach the forest.
I can be myself out here. Bullying, reckless, totally selfish. Do the things that make me me.
Once you reach the forest, the height limit doubles, which will give you some more room to play with.
and flying a crop duster toward a jumbo jet loaded with mercenaries.
Exactly. Everyone's so
Generally
hung
take a
up on
completely
appearance
straight
that
line
they
until you
left
reach the
to
next hill
start
crest.
who you
Afterwards,
are.
turn right.
And if you ain't who you are, who the fuck are you?
Descend, Trevor. This is meant to be a restricted airspace. Flying the high's gonna draw attention.
You got bad information, brother.
Once you
I'm
cross this
fine.
little edge in the mountain, take a right turn and then head towards these stair-looking
I'll
things.
start monitoring you at that altitude.
Altitude's just fine, Ron.
Are you sure about this, T? You're reading you, T. Descend some.
I'm in control of this.
You've got to descend, man. The military will be all over you.
Once you pass this ridge, start diving down and always stay close to the ground. Once you reach these bushes, you can go up again and towards the back of the plane. If you've done everything correctly, you will be right at the plane's back when the door opens. If you lift it off too early, the jets will spawn in and the run will be dead, as this loses multiple minutes. Lifting off too late is safer, however the enemies at the back of the plane might start shooting you. They are programmed to miss you, but sometimes, in classical Rockstar fashion, this does not work correctly and you get hit. Immediately take out the first enemy on the left and then all the enemies you can see in the center. In general, only the enemies on the left side have to be taken out, the right ones just fall out the back. Make sure to use Trevor's power a lot, as all these guys can take you out very easily. Now climb up the ladder and shoot the pilot. After the cutscene, start turning the cargo plane around and head towards Trevor's airfield. The reason why you want to use the power a lot is because, should you die in the airplane shootout, Trevor's truck will not be placed at his trailer after the mission. This loses a lot of time should you be going for On Mission Zero strats. Speaking of On Mission Zero strats, in this tutorial we will once again show you both the On Mission Zero and non-On Mission Zero strats for this segment. If you are going for On Mission Zero strats, you now want to pre-call Ursula's phone number for the On Mission Zero later on. At the end of Minor Turbulence, we will start with the On Mission Zero route up until the second heli section on Predator. Then we will show you the ending of Predator and military hardware, which are the same for both. And then we will once again diverge to show you Paleto score Mission Zero, and then afterwards we will show you the non-On Mission Zero routes for the ending of Minor Turbulence, Paleto score setup, Predator, the ending of military hardware and Paleto score. Then at the end we will show you the rest of Paleto score. Now back to Minor Turbulence. After you hear the enemy jet pilot say a certain voice, then you can call the emergency services to prevent the plane cutscene from playing.
What emergency service do you require?
However, this phone call automatically gets put down roughly once you are above Marty Madrazo's range. Then you just have to avoid the enemy planes getting close to your cockpit windows. This is done by strategically rocking the plane from side to side so that the angle is never correct for the cutscene to play.
Understand the effort I've gone to be here, pal.
This is your final warning. Divert now or be engaged.
Hey, you wouldn't shoot me down anyway. Think of the ground casualties.
Once you hear this voice line,
Cargo jet is safely over the desert. We are weapons free. Copy that. Weapons free.
you want to start slowing down, pointing the plane up, and then start spamming the get out of the vehicle button. This will skip some voice lines and make you get out of the plane as soon as possible. Continuously jump to get out of the plane's loading bay as soon as possible. You can also try to get pushed by these crates here, however this is very risky as you can tumble and then slide all the way back down the plane. If you get pushed all the way out of the plane by the crates, there is also a chance of soft locking. Once you jump out of the plane, this is where the two routes diverge. If you only want to see the non-On Mission Zero route, go to this timestamp. The non-On Mission Zero route will head towards Trevor's meth lab, while the On Mission Zero route parachutes down to Trevor's trailer where his Bodhi car is conveniently waiting for him. Nobody quite knows why it's here, but we might as well take advantage of it. Note that the mission only officially ends once you enter the car.
When you receive Ron's phone call and are close enough to Cletus, press P to enter the pause menu and enter the mission replay of pulling favors, but cancel it on the pop-up. Drive up close to Cletus, exit the car and press P to enter the director mode through the pause menu. Hold W, G and spam your C4 hotkey during the load in and press left click once to detonate the C4 once you load in. This setup is the same as on Eye in the Sky in the last episode of the tutorial.
Don't even try.
Once again, push Cletus a bit here and pre-place the C4 after it.
Let's raise some hell, neighbor.
Take out the satellite dishes and blow the C4 up once the yellow dot appears. Also remember pressing F8 after blowing up for a quicker mission fail screen. Texts are also very important in this segment, so we will be getting at least 4 during these on Mission Zeros. The first one is on this section. Shoot the first tire and then wait until you get the text before shooting the second tire. In some cases you will get a phantom text, so you just have to know when the text would come in. After the text, shoot the rest of the tires and then blow Cletus up.
Better shot from up here.
Once again, push Cletus a bit here and wait until you get a text before calling the booty call, which you pre-called on minor turbulence. Once you receive the text, you want to instantly call the booty call. Get into first person and already position yourself close to the edge, so you have less distance to run to the mission. Now you want to take out the 3 coyotes and then drop down. You have to wait until you hear the dialogue line, "Nicely done!" before you start delaying the dialogue with Trevor's power. This is very important, as only this dialogue line will give you the 5th checkpoint for the mission we are about to skip. Also make sure to power at least twice on the first delay, otherwise it won't work. Already take out the shotgun to explode yourselves once you enter the mission start radius for Paleto's core setup. If for any reason you are invincible here, you just enter the interaction menu and equip Trevor's sunglasses. This will definitely remove the invincibility effect. Please note that the camera angle has to change for that to work. Afterwards, blow yourself up with a C4. If spawned in at the gas station, you didn't delay the dialogue enough. If you spawned in at the hospital, you never actually started the Paleto score setup. If you got an infinite black screen, you didn't delay the dialogue enough and the Cletus mission has ended. If you spawned in at the normal start of Paleto's core setup, the booty call didn't work correctly. This is theoretically fixable, but loses around 40 seconds, so not worth to continue for segments. If you did everything correct, you'll find the mission pass screen in front of you.
After the mission pass screen, climb down to the street and already start calling a cab once you touch the ground. If you call too early, the call will be busy and the cab won't come in. You only actually want to take the cab if you don't get any other good car spawns, like in this run. In general, any vehicle except for golf carts are fine for this section. We will now be doing our first chained on mission 0. A chained on mission 0 is an on mission 0 directly after a mission that has already been on mission 0. The difference here is that some mission scripts are still running from the previous on mission 0, which means that there are a couple different ways we can now enter the on mission 0. Of course, you can once again do a mission replay setup, which is rather slow but very consistent. Otherwise, you can also do a jump or run setup, which is faster but less consistent. What we will be showing you in this run, however, is called the phone setup, which is the fastest but the least consistent. If you want to see videos about the other Mission 0 options, you can join the Discord and ask for videos. Okay, now for phone setup. Once you are close to Cletus, start calling Lamar and have the call active for the entire setup from here on out. Park the car close to Cletus, get out, walk a few steps away and then take cover on the car and immediately press P. Now enter DM through the pause menu. You should immediately get 2 pop-ups, after which you can kill yourselves. If you enter on Mission 0, you did everything correctly. If you enter DM, you got a rare issue with phone setup, which makes it inconsistent. Do either Mission Replay or any other Mission 0 setup from here on out, if you want to continue the run. Phone setup will not work a second time. This on Mission 0 is exactly the same as the Paleto score setup 1 up until the Coyote part. The difference is that this time we will be using the cab mission instead of the booty calls to break the on Mission 0. This is done because we've only got 2 booty call numbers available, however we want to do 3 Mission 0s in this segment back to back.
That's it, beauty. And again, Trevor. Nice. Go on, one more, just for the hell of it. That was some damn fine shooting.
After the mission failed screen, jump down to the side and start calling a cab.
I need a cab.
Stand on the balcony and aim like this to make the cab always spawn in the correct way. There are very rare cases where the cab will still spawn in a bad spot, in which case, tough luck. At this point it's very important that you've gotten Lester's military hardware text, as this is the last point where you can get it. Once you see the red dots on the map and you see the cab driving towards you, you want to shoot the 3 coyotes. After you've shot all 3, immediately run to the side and jump down. Once you hear Cletus' dialogue, immediately start delaying it with Trevor's special ability and start running for the cab. If it's still driving, press E to make it stop. Enter the cab on the front by holding F and then immediately hold E and start driving once you enter. Start driving towards Trevor's trailer. Most of the time this means to turn around too. Once you hear the dispatcher start talking, exit the car immediately. This is very important as only this makes so that the markers on the map reappear. Once they reappear, get back into the car and start delaying the dialogue using Trevor's switch key. You can't use power because you are in a car, and you also shouldn't use alt because that can switch you to a different character, killing the run. Now delay the dialogue all the way to Trevor's trailer. Note that on the first delay you have to hold the button a bit longer for it to work. Once you are at the trailer, exit the cab and start spamming the power button once again. Once you enter the mission, bring up the interaction menu and remove the invincibility. This is done because if you explode yourselves and are invincible, you will get cops, which you can't remove, killing the run. After removing the potential invincibility, explode yourselves. If you land in the heli, you did everything correctly. If you spawned early in the mission, you didn't get enough checkpoints. If you got an infinite load screen, you passed the Cletus mission. This is the safe way of doing things, however there is an even faster and more inconsistent way, the cab warp. Everything is the same until you enter the cab. Log to around 20 FPS and wait for the dispatcher dialogue to finish. Once you hear Trevor's dialogue, exit the cab and press Franklin's or Michael's switch key for a short bit. Just like as if you would switch. If you timed it correctly, you will now be at Trevor's safe house. If you pressed it too early, nothing happens and you can just continue like before. If you switch to Michael or Franklin, the run is dead because the Cletus mission finished. This threat is super hard and only done by WR level segment runners, so don't bother with it if you are just starting out. From here everything continues like normal. Once you spawn in, the on mission 0 and non on mission 0 route once again link back up. Now it's a simple task of landing next to Franklin and Chop and waiting for them to get into the heli. Or is it? Because if the two touch, Chop will just randomly stand around for a few seconds, losing you a bit of time. Also make sure to not start flying too early, as this might also bug out Chop. Here he can either also stand around for a few seconds or fall through the map. Now you want to fly back to the airfield using this route. This whole mission 0 section is very complicated, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the Discord or in the comment section. While you are down there, make sure to also like the video and to subscribe to our YouTube channels and to give a follow to our Twitch channels. I will once again speed up this flight a bit, although there is this very legendary voice line in this section where he talks about killing Ernie, Earl, Dale, Doyle, Devil, Dalton and Dawn, which you won't listen to. So yeah, just speed it up a bit. The zone for this yellow dot is quite huge, so you don't have to worry too much about sticking the landing.
You now want to make your way over to the next mission, military hardware. Taking the helicopter is ideal for this, as you can just dive out and then parachute to just land in front of the military convoy. Also, really important, play it safe here, as dying will either respawn you at the hospital without even having started the mission, or will put you at the mission respawn point, from which you will have to use the heli again to get to the mission, both basically killing the run. Getting the helicopter level before diving out is also pretty helpful. Take out the front and back cars with the grenade launcher or the RPG, depending on your ammo count, and then finally steal the truck. Some runners might leave one of the military cars alive to then use it for the almost setup. However, I do not like this strat as it messes up the mission ending. Alex, for example, instead takes one of the pre-spawned cars, as you will see soon. If you do not want to do the heli dive out strat, just land in front of the first car and the convoy will stop for you. Then take out the enemies just the same. Sometimes if any of the cars get too close to the truck, you might not be able to use the grenade launcher or RPG, as you would otherwise blow the truck up. In the case that this happens, just take out the soldiers with the AR. On this long and boring drive, you actually only have one brake boost. You can actually spot this with the billboard on the right side. You should also use this time to already pre-call the opposite booty call number to which you use on the Paleto score setup. So if you previously used Liz, then now you use Ursula and vice versa. This is because the number is still on cooldown from previously. After calling a booty call, the number is on cooldown for anywhere between 25 to 35 minutes. Reloading the game deletes this cooldown, however. Take a small shortcut here at the end over these small dunes to finish the mission faster. Also make sure to not park too close to the trailer, as this will cut off Trevor's path to the next objective.
Already during the ending of military hardware, you want to look out for these two car spawns. There will always be at least one car spawned in here. We will once again only show you phone setup for this on Mission 0 entry, but as previously said, both jump/run setup or mission replay setup also works. For this phone setup, it's very important to bring up your phone or start aiming before Lester's call can come in. This is because for this phone setup we're going to be using Lester's after mission phone call instead of the Lamar phone call. Once you are around this section here, you want to put down the phone or stop aiming to make the Lester call come in. The setup is exactly the same as on Predator. Park close to Cletus, get out of the car, take a few steps away, take cover and then enter the aim through the pause menu. If you get 2 pop-ups, you did everything correctly and you can just blow yourself up. The satellite dish section is the same as always. However, at the car section things will go a bit differently, as this time we only need 3 checkpoints instead of 5.
I'll introduce you to one of my all-time favorite pastimes. You're gonna love this. Boom!
Climb over this ledge as soon as you spawn in and then take out the tires as soon as possible. This time you don't need to wait for any texts.
Nice. Go on, one
As
more
soon as you
just
see
for the
Cletus
hell of
put
it.
down the binoculars, you can start running for the mission on the map. As soon as you hear Cletus' dialogue finish, start dialing the booty call. Make sure to not get too close to the mission before the call finishes, as you would despawn the mission, which is a massive time loss. You don't have to delay any dialogue this time, as Cletus is just casually walking over to the next checkpoint instead of the mission finishing. Take out the RPG already to blow yourself up as soon as possible once you start the mission. Casually jump and roll up these stairs and then scrape along this wall to start the mission. Now you can just blow yourself up to skip the first part. You can also once again be invincible here, so just do the interaction menu thing if this happens. Now this is very important. Do not spam F while spawning in here. There is a chance of it softlocking you. I once almost lost the world record to this. This is also the spot where the 2 routes link back up, so let's now have a look at the non-Mission 0 routes. If you're not interested in this, please skip ahead to the timestamp shown on screen now for the rest of Paleto's score.
Let us now go back to the end of Minor Turbulence. This time you want to head to Trevor's meth lab and not to Trevor's trailer. Land around the right side of this road and then take out these NPCs and the dog. This is done because you now have to shoot open this fence here, and otherwise the dog would attack you when doing so. Also watch out for any hillbillies shooting at you here, as getting shot while having this phone call will delay it and cause time loss. Position yourself like this and then start running once you hear the last beep before the phone call connects. Put the call down and start the mission. Jump once and make your way downstairs and outside to the car. Enter the car and then repark the car like this so that Trevor has to run less distance. You now want to enter the settings menu on the phone. This has to be done so that Lester's phone call can never come in, and yes, it has to be the settings menu. Just having the phone up is not enough, as it would otherwise get put down. This is again a long and boring drive, so I'd rather speed it up for you. Try and balance the car's tires on the train tracks, as this will give you a bit of extra speed. This jump coming up can be hard, as you can easily spin out. Therefore, take a very far right line here to jump down to the road. Hitting the deers here can sometimes not be avoided. Once you reach this intersection, put down the phone so that the dialogue is lined up correctly.
All right. How long does it take us to get out here from LS?
Turn around and then already prepare Michael's AP pistol and destroy the glass for more time save.
Go to the front of the bank. Clock the entrance. If the paperwork's correct, the alarm will be a relic. We should be in and out before the local PD knows what's happening.
Make sure to absolutely line this shot up correctly. Shooting too much can give you a higher chance of getting cops.
Okay.
Now drive over to the yellow dot on the gas station.
Drive over to the gas station opposite the bank and we'll monitor chatter.
This strat coming up is quite difficult. There are also multiple different ways that different runners do it. However, I've timed a couple of them and they are all the same. So I will just show you the one Alex uses.
We'll be there in 50 seconds. Roger that. 4 units. Backup team at station is available.
They've dispatched 4 cars in 60 seconds and more on standby. And it isn't even 30 Victor shots fired. Oh, this is a real headache.
What do you got on the clock?
40 seconds.
This is Paleto Security. Any updates on the Code 30 Atom? Backup ready to mobilize.
This is not normal. The response is out of proportion.
Set yourself up next to the bike and wait until Trevor says piggy bank.
Just went off on their piggy bank.
Now, get out of the car and exactly 5 seconds after Trevor says piggy bank, you want to power twice. Next step is enter the car, exit the car and enter the car again. Now wait until you hear Lester say weakness. After this, exit the car, power twice, enter, exit, enter, and this should be the dialogue skip. Switch to Trevor once he gets onto the bike.
Faster than your ass.
I'm not gonna outrun a cop.
Sometimes Michael can trigger the explosion here. Don't get worried about that, however. As far as we know, it can't mission fail you. Lean back on this jump a bit to make it up to the rails again. The train will always spawn in somewhere around here, so there is no risk of bad train RNG like on Lamar Down for example. Once again, try riding the rails as much as possible. On the bridge, you absolutely have to pay attention to these small bits on the side, because if you end up hitting them, you will go flying and will fall down to the river. Also make sure to not get too close to the side of the bridge, as you can sometimes bug into the ground and die. Some people might also remember the bike glide strat on this mission. However, this is way too difficult for any speedrunner to attempt, so it's rightfully buried in the history books. Make sure not to hit any rocks on the jump down here and also not to fly into the river. Ask me how I know. Should you actually fall off the motorcycle, pay attention to Michael because he is coming in at rocket speed. Rubber banding NPCs don't really take avoiding action. Again, ask me how I know.
Spam through all of these setup options, none of this matters. However, we will now be showing you a strat that does matter a lot. The first text manip of the run. Or I guess the second if you do minisub. Or the third if you fucked up carbine. Or the 10th if you run MS categories. For the manip to work, you have to stand in this rough area of the room. Now start a timer once you put down Franklin's call. This can either be done in live split or just on your phone. 6 seconds after putting down Franklin's call, call a blimp. And 21 seconds after calling a blimp, put down the phone. Also make sure to be in sleep mode. This should give you the military hardware text a few seconds after putting down the phone. Now switch to Franklin, who is currently chasing down the O'Neills. The O'Neills being Elwood, Walton and Wynn, and Ernie, Earl, Dale, Doyle, Daryl, Dalton and Don.
If he's back in Sandy Shores, why didn't I hear about it? God damn it!
Damn, these redneck fools know we own them now. That's
However,
right,
it won't be
Chop.
much of a
We gonna
chase
fuck
for
them
long
up
as we
as
can
soon
grab
as
some
traffic
awesome
clears.
brake boosts on the side of the tunnel. However, these brake boosts can be really tough to hit. Use this traffic island after the tunnel to grab some more brake boosts. Now there's one on the left here and the one in the center to get you up to massive speed. There is also a very risky jump to the left here, but nobody uses that yet. Also make sure not to fall down the mountainside here, as it's an automatic mission fail. Slow down a bit here, because going too fast also automatically mission fails you, as the game doesn't expect you to be ahead of the O'Neills. Run and then jump down the hill and put down the phone 3 times. This will automatically switch you to Trevor.
Don't worry. Incoming!
Incoming?
Depending on which patch you're running the game on, you might get automatically stopped here. Now just drive to Trevor's airfield. Also make sure to not hit the gas station on the right side here.
Here she is, the Biz Heli. Remember,
Position the truck like this for the shortest distance to the heli. Wait for Michael and then lift off and fly towards the canyon. I will also speed up this part a bit. If you did everything correctly on this flight, you should arrive with the same dialogue playing as me.
You stole it from the FIB? Not so. I took it in lieu of payment. There was a rifle on board too, so if your panties...
Now just take out the 2 first O'Neills and then aim towards where the third guy is going to be.
That model's fitted
This
with
next section can be tough, as there's quite a difficult dialogue skip to get.
He's behind the rock. I can't get a shot.
First run in first person and then jump up this hill. Also make sure to already put out the sniper rifle. If you're fast enough of shooting this guy, you can get a dialogue skip which saves like 4 seconds. If you miss the shot, the guy will start running towards the left. However, you can still shoot him. You can also switch to Michael and use the infrared camera if you can't shoot him as Franklin.
Anyone else we should worry about?
After switching to Trevor, the routes link back up again for a while. If you want to see the end of Predator and most of military hardware, go to this timestamp shown on screen now. This section is exactly the same as the Mission Zero section, has already been shown before.
We did it.
We will now jump to the end of military hardware again, where we will head up these stairs while getting the phone call and wait on this exact spot to immediately start the next mission. After the cutscene, you want to jump once and get into the car.
We got a score to take.
And now, welcome to one of the most boring drives in this entire speedrun, so I will speed most of it up, as otherwise this would be 3 minutes of pure boredom. Turn right towards the yellow dot, cutting through the gas station here,
Hear it kick off. Get ready, 'cause we're gonna want to go ASAP.
and then slam right into the wall. Sometimes you can get lucky and Franklin can warp out of the van, however there is no consistent lineup for this. And now, off to drive to the bank, where the routes finally link up for good.
Getting ID'd. You're an idiot.
I gotta go. It's number 2.
Yeah, well, pinch it off. All right, we all good? Let's hit 'em.
Jump once, early enough to dodge the slower walking zone, and then take cover on the side of the bank entrance. Next step, enter the bank and line yourself up for the next dialogue skip.
Today's going one of two ways, friend. Everyone on the floor.
Alex uses this specific floor tile for it.
On the counter. That's it. Hands in the air. Em, keep an eye on our trusted employee.
Okay.
Once our crewmate says soon, you can start running forward to punch him. This will skip some dialogue. As always, skip the cutscene, then shoot outside the door once to start the shootout. If you miss the shot and the door closes, you can pick up the sniper and walk very close to the door to still shoot through it and start the next scene. Take out the first car with the grenade launcher and then start running forward. The heli spawn is dialogue dependent, so sometimes you can get lucky, sometimes you don't. If it finally spawns, use the minigun to take out the chopper. In my experience, the heli spawns in quicker if you don't aim. Now place a C4 on the ground and wait for the C4 to appear again in Trevor's hand. Once you see it appear, explode it to kill yourself and warp the crewmates forward. You need 2 C4 explosions because with the heavy suit you have a lot more HP. Now switch to first person and pick out the pistol to run as quickly as possible. Maybe you've also heard of a strat where we throw down some C4 while running forward to blow up Michael to skip the longer black screen that you get from dying. However, this strat is too inconsistent, so nobody does it. Shoot open all the fences with the RPG by quick switching to it. This is also a good spot to practice the quick reloads on the RPG. You want to switch weapons just after the shot fires to instantly reload the RPG. This will be quite important in just a bit. Run forward, past all the enemies here and take out the last 2 arriving cars. This is enough to progress to the next scene. In this scene, you need to only have a certain amount of enemies left to progress. So what Alex does is take out the close enemies, then try to snipe the 4 enemies at the back, and then take out the 2 cars with grenade launchers. Finally kill the 1 guy on the right side. Most of the time this is enough, but sometimes you can't take out all the enemies in this time frame, so you have to kill more later. After the cutscene, switch to Franklin to start the bulldozer part. This is in my opinion such a bad section because it really ruins the great flow of the shootout. Take out all the arriving military guys so that they can't damage you because you need all of the possible armor and HP for the next shootout coming up, which is probably one of the most difficult ones in the run.
You blocked the wrong road, man! The bank robber's in the other direction!
Are you almost here?
Nearly.
Alright. How you doing, son?
You hear that gunfire? That's how I'm doing!
Hang in there! Where you at, kid?
Listen to the shoot! Pinpoint ain't tough!
We're holding here!
So I guess we shooting our way out of here!
At the end here, head straight for your crew here to pick them up, and then turn straight left for a quicker route.
Another tank on the right. Hang a left.
Hey, quiet disturbance, you call.
In some cases, if you are very unlucky, the tanks can actually hit you here despite being programmed to miss.
Hey, hold on!
The upcoming shootout, which is one of the hardest in the entire run, can be either done as Franklin or Michael. Michael is the safe option, being around 10 seconds slower but super safe, while Franklin can die very easily. I would recommend to do Michael when you are starting out to speedrun and to only switch to Franklin once you are really going for top times. In essence, the 2 shootouts are basically the same. Franklin is just a bit faster and more difficult, so we will be only showing Franklin. Wait until you see Franklin enter the factory. If you switch too early, Michael can get stuck at the entry. Take out the first guy and only wound the second one. Then run into the room and finally kill him. This will prevent the next 2 guys from spawning. Try to stay as far back as possible while taking out the next 3 guys. This makes it so that Michael doesn't get stuck. Michael or Trevor getting stuck somewhere are the most likely mission fail conditions on this shootout, so always pay attention to the minimap to look out for them. This shootout is very optimized, so pay close attention to the way that Alex takes out the enemies. The 3 guys on the left here usually do more damage, so they are the priority here. Try to take far shots in the next room while moving forward. Learning where the enemies are going to be is very important here. To do this fast and consistently without dying, you need a good mental map of all the spawns. Once again, pay attention to Michael and Trevor on the map here. And now for the last room. Take out the first 3 enemies, climb the wall and then take out the 4th guy. Now, more enemies will start spawning. I usually take out 1 guy that consistently spawns here and then move to the side here so that I don't die. Now for the furthest away 3rd person camera mode and position the camera like this. This makes it so that all the spawn points of the enemies are blocked and the train spawns in. Sometimes you can get this train spawn delayed by up to 30 seconds. Also make sure that the train spawn is actually triggered and that there are not too many enemies left alive for that. Once you see the yellow dot appear, enter it slowly from the side and that concludes the next segment. I really hope you learned a lot from this tutorial and be sure to check out the playlist provided for more tutorials for the GTA 5 speedrun. Also huge thanks to Alex for his great work. Subscribe to his and my channel for more speedrun content and make sure to rate and comment the video. I hope to see you in the next tutorial. Until then, later! Once again, push Cletus a bit here and pre-place the the feces.
Least shameless plug ever, Alter.